Hey guys, this is Chodaros Designs, and we have another wonderful design by the talented loomer from Norway. And this one is called the Royal Flush Bracelet. You can find quite a few renditions on her account on Instagram. So it is a hook-only design, and it favors her Trophy Bracelet, which you can find on my channel as well. So if you have made that bracelet, you will find these stitches very familiar. I have, and I'm seeing it so bright on camera, but I accidentally had some like pearl brown bands in here, and they're like really noticeable in the light. But this consists of a beaded single chain, that's the first step, with a bead on every other band. So these are 8mm beads, and it took me 14 every other band to fit my wrist, so it will depend on your wrist size. And also on the outside, which I do say in my tutorial as well, but these are 6mm diamond glass beads, and there's 3 different colors, and these came on a string, I believe from Michael's. So there's a pink, and these are amethyst, and out of the 3, one of them is a tad tinier. So I did kind of every other on that pattern. So this is the front, and this is the back. So on the back, you can tell it's the back because you have a straight line on both sides. So when you complete one side and you're ready to do the second, make sure that your patterns match up. Also, you want to make sure if you are switching out your bling, like I did, make sure that you're putting the right one to match. So after you do the one side and you're completing the second, you want to make sure that they match up and you don't go out of sequence, and also that you're grabbing the correct band and that they match up directly across. Okay, so super simple, hook only, and you'll need to have your beaded single chain ready before we begin. Again, it's a bead, plain band, bead, plain band. Okay, so let's grab our supplies and get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a single chain to fit your wrist, and every other band will have a bead on it. So the beads that I choose are 8mm glass beads, and I'm going to just do my last 2 in case you're not too familiar with adding beads to bands. So if you're just starting out, you want to add your cap band. You want to make your cap band, and you want to stick a plain band in first and close it up. And then you want to add your beaded band. So make sure you have this done first before you start adding your bead. Excuse me. Alright, so I just put on a plain band, so now it's time for me to put on my bead. So again, you just stick it in through both loops, and then take the right loop over the bead to the right side of the bead, so the bead is in the middle, close it up. And then we want to add a plain band, and then we want to add a bead, doing the same thing. And then to close up, you just add a plain band and a C-clip. Okay? So, it was suggested and done by Loomer from Norway to use possibly bigger bands in the middle and then smaller, or I'm sorry, bigger beads in the middle and smaller beads on the border. So the beads that I choose to use are a 4mm diamond glass bead, and it came on a string. I think I got it at Michael's, but it has 3 different colors. So this is like a amethyst. This is a pink, and then there's an amethyst color. But see, these 2 are the same size, and then there is one bead that is a tad smaller, so it's like a little bit of an ombre. So I'm just going to do every other one, excuse me, color-wise. So you'll need the same amount for as many beads as you've used. So I've used 14 8mm. Now if you're going to use a smaller bead, you may need more beads. So that would mean I need 14 on each side, and that would put me at 28 altogether. Okay, so we're going to take it and we're going to start down by the cap band, and we're going to go in. So that's the front. We're going to go in, going to go this way where I'm pulling my hook up through that first chain there. Okay, so this is just to start the bracelet. It won't be the sequence, but just to start, we're going to just add some bands. So if you've done the Trophy Bracelet, then this should be all familiar, and you can try out the Trophy Bracelet by Loomer from Norway. It's on my channel. So I stuck a band right through those 2 loops. I want to go back through and recapture those 2 loops and then place the band back on my hook. So you can see that band is kind of wiggly. So on each side of that chain that we grabbed, just kind of pull it down a little bit, push it together, and you want to hold the bands together with your finger, because we're going to take another band and we're going to pull those 4 loops on top through a band. Okay, so it gives like a looser effect. And then we want to pull another band through like that. So in all, to start, we're using 3 bands. Okay, so now we're going to skip a link. So we went through this first link here, and so we're going to skip this next one, and we're going to go up through the 3rd one. So we're going to do every other link. Okay, so you stick your hook in so you have both of those on your hook, and now this starts the sequence. So we're just going to pull a band through those 2 links from that chain and close it up. So now we have 4 bands on our hook, and we're going to take another band and we're going to pull it through. Oops, yikes, I forgot to recapture. We're going to pull that, and then we're going to go back down and recapture those 2 bands from the chain and then close it up. Sorry about that. Okay, now we grab another band and we want to pull the first band over. We want to pull those 2 bands from our chain in the middle, and we want to pull that last band over. So that puts a total of 4 loops. And then we just want to grab the first band from this set over here. So we should have all bands but 1 looped over this new band and close it up. Okay, now we take another band and we're going to capture all 3 of these and close it up. And now this is the time where we want to add our bling band. So as normal, you just stick it through, pull that right band over to the right side of your bead, and close it up. And there it sits in the middle. And so that completes the process for each time, each pattern. Okay, so we're going to skip this next chain or link, and we're going to go in through that one. So then we just repeat. We stick a band through those 2 loops on the chain. Excuse me. And then we recapture those 2 loops and close it up. Okay, so we want to keep our finger on there, and then we want to take another band, and on this band goes loop 1, loop 2 and 3, loop 4, and loop 5. And then we close it up, leave the last band out here, and now we have a total of 3 loops. So then we take another band and put all 3 loops on top, close it up, and we add our bling band. And make sure you put your bling in the center and close it up. So it's pretty simple. You can see there how the pattern is forming roughly. Okay, so we skip this one and go in the next chain. Stick the band through the chain and then recapture the chain and close it up. Grab another band and pull through loop 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then close it up. And now pull through all loops on your hook. And now we add our next beaded band. So every time you add a beaded band, it is the completion of that step. Okay. So this is what you should have. I don't see a difference. Let me look here and make sure. I really don't see a difference on what side would be the front or the back. So we'll do that a couple more times, but I'm going to go a bit faster. But since I am using a sequence, I want to lay my beads out. So my next bead would be this larger amethyst, and then my pink, and then that small one there. So forgot to grab that last band. Okay, So let's go ahead and work on this until we get to the end of this side, which is where you'll finish up at your C-clip, and we will meet back and start our last side. All right, so we have our first side completed, and it ends up where we use 13 beads for the border, because the first one here we don't use bead, so that's out of 14 beads we started at the second one. So what I did here was this is just my personal preference, but I added my 13th bead, and then I went through the cap band and did another pattern, and I'm to the point right now where I would add a bead, but I'm not. I'm going to put these 2 loops in my cap band, and then to me that kind of, it'll match what we placed in the beginning. I'm always so bad at adding bands to C-clip. Did I even say C-clip? Okay. Okay. So that's what you should have. I'm loving these colors. This is actually Trandex Beat. Rainbow Loom does not make a silicone burgundy, so that's when I will search for, I call them more grown-up colors, but more elegant colors. And then this is the Brown Sweets. Okay, so we're going to come back down to do the other side, and I'm going to start and loom it down instead of up. Okay, so we go into that first band up on the chain, the first link after the cap band. And remember, just to start it off, we're just adding bands. So we add a band through, and then we recapture that chain, those 2 bands, close it up, and then another band to capture all 4 bands or loops on our hook, like that. And then we're going to add 1 more band, like that. So that's just to start. So then we're going to come down, and we're going to skip the next one and go in through the 3rd. So we grab a band and just capture that chain, and now we're going to reclaim it, close it up, and pull a band through that first loop. Oof, doesn't want to stay down. So we pull a band through that first loop. Excuse me. Second and 3rd and 4th, and then we want to grab 1 from the previous, so that's 5. Close it up. So we have 3 loops on our hook, so we want to pull band through all 3, close it up, and this is where we add our first beaded band. Like that. So our goal is to make sure that our beads match up on the opposite side. So now we skip a link and we go into this one, and now you'll be able to see, I mean my beads are hard to see, I'm sorry, that it is on the exact same side. Okay, So you put your hook in, recapture, and pull your next band through. All right, one of my loops should be back here. Okay, and then we pull the next band through. And then our beaded band to complete. Okay, so I think you guys are good. I have faith in you, since we are just repeating what we did on the opposite side. So let's go ahead and we'll finish up, complete onto the C-clip, and then we'll meet back here at the end. Alright, so here is our finished royal flush bracelet. I absolutely love mine. I accidentally had a couple pearl bands in there, but as far as the looping and the beads, I love it. So there is a back and a front. So this is actually the back of the bracelet. If you can see there's a line that goes up on both sides, and this is the front of the bracelet, as that line is not visible. So a big thank you to Loomer from Norway for another great design. Again, it's the Royal Flush bracelet. Make sure that you do hashtag your renditions to us on Instagram, and would love to see what you come up with. So stay tuned, got lots more coming. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.